Ladies and gentlemen, it is a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob Grams, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. You're listening to the ProBoh Show. Not live, sadly. Most of you will be listening to this on Vaughan Radio on Monday morning, 8:30. But this is a podcast first, my friends, and because of Easter, I'm recording these shows in the evening. So this is recorded right now for me and my wonderful guests in the chat. It is 6:15 on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening. It is actually a really beautiful day today, guys. So who we got in the chat right now? We've got James DeWitt joining us all the way from London. Born to Iron Man, Seri, Alone Strong, Ravdos, North Carolina, I think, Ravdos. Yeah, all joining us live. If you want to join us live, remember tomorrow night at 6 p.m., or tonight, I guess for you guys, at 6 p.m., you'll be able to catch the next recording, which will be wonderful for you guys who reach out to me. People reach out to me constantly saying, I wish the show was later. Because, I used to record this on an evening. And a lot of people miss the fact that they used to be able to tune in on an evening to participate with the content. Well, now you can, for a little while, at least until the end of Easter. All right, so we've got lots planned for today's show. In the second half, we're going to I asked 100 humans about something that might make their partner angry. I asked them about something that they might do that could make their partner angry. Then in Complete the News, we look at something that is being challenged in Utah, in the United States, for its explicit sexual content. Same ProBoh Show, different time. You know what I'm saying? Illinois, but you were close. Okay, Ravdos in Illinois, all right. Nice to see you, Ravdos. Dude, see, Ravdos, you're a person. You're one of these people that I've missed seeing in the chat because it's impossible for you to be here when we normally do the show. And if we have time, we're also going to look at something that the Italian government is planning to penalize, to punish. I know if you've ever been to a beach in Europe, you're hoping that it's Speedos. It's not. Spoilers. Hashtag spoilers. But all that fun, my friend, is in the second half of the show. Before that, in the first half, we've got an unpopular opinion, a controversial one. I mean, controversial in the sense that the vast majority of people voted one way. But, before we go there, I'm here, you're here. Let's check out what's going on in the world. Ravdos, sometimes I manage a bout of insomnia and catch you deep in the late of night. Yeah, 8:30 in Illinois. It must be like 4 a.m., something like that. Okay, let's see. First up, in some interesting news articles, the Chinese colleges are giving students a week off to fall in love. Oh, dude, I want that kind of holiday. There's a bank holiday that we don't get in Spain that we really should. This is no joke. Chinese colleges are giving students a week off to fall in love as the country struggles to keep its birth rate up. This is from insider.com, by the way, if you want to check out this article. And again, all the links that I use, you can find them all in my Patreon. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/professionalbohemian. And you'll see the VODs get uploaded there. Everything gets uploaded there, along with the links I use for the show. So 9 colleges in China say that they're giving students a week off to go and fall in love in April. Dude, I mean, how old are these students, firstly? No, don't worry. It's not like primary school. It's college students. So they're of legal age. Dude, how desperate do you need to be in your population kind of shrinkage to be saying, like, why don't you take a week off and go shag? Dude, most teenagers don't need that much encouragement. I'm sorry. They've been asked to keep travel diaries, film videos of their trips. Okay. And write growth reports. Yeah, all this comes in the backdrop of China needing to bolster, to reinforce their declining birth and marriage rates. Local companies, provinces, and townships have been experimenting with ways to convince people to get married, like offering 30 days of marriage leave, or launching campaigns asking city women to date rural older bachelors. Let me repeat that, my friends. Campaigns asking city women to date rural older bachelors. What is in it for them? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. James DeWitt. Time to invest in contraception in China. That's all it takes. A week. At that age, it does. Like when you're at college age, when you're in your early 20s, all you need to do is see someone on a bus passing by in front of you in the street, and you think, oh my God, that's the love of my life, and she's traveling away. I mean, that was me. Am I just a hopeless romantic? But that's the way I used to feel. There she goes. We could have been so special. 1.4 billion people, and they want even more. Well, the question is not about how high the population is now. It's how high the population of China needs to be to fulfill their requirements in production. Like I read somewhere about Japan facing like an 11 million person work deficit by 2050. I don't have that link, but when I post this on my Patreon, I'll try and include that link if I remember. But yeah, Japan has will face I think it was like 11 million person or 11 million worker deficit by 2050. I mean, at that point, you're like, you know, many industries in Japan are just going to be paralyzed, you know? And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Guys, do you remember when we spoke about that we need dumb objects rather than smart objects? Do you remember that? We did this a couple of shows ago. I said, you know, you don't need I don't need a toaster that can read my mood or connect to the internet or tell me my horoscope. I just need it to burn toast. Well, I found this really curious article. CNBC. It's relatively recent. I think it's from a couple of days ago. You have to be careful this time of year because yesterday was El Día de los Inocentes, April Fool's Day for we English speakers. So I'm researching articles. I have to double check to make sure they're not fake. You got fake news. Dumb phones are on the rise in the US. Teléfonos tontos, I guess you'd say. Are on the rise in the US as Generation Z looks to limit screen time. Dude, did we just accidentally look out? It's our look become, by pure accident, amazing that we have this entire generation of people who are not as stupid as their predecessors. Dumb phones may be falling out of fashion on a global scale, but it's a different story in the US. This is from a CNBC article. And basically, to give you the TLDR, to give you the too long didn't read, Generation Z are actually actively seeking out old phones that we would have used in the early 2000s. Like, do you remember the old Nokia brick? The kind of thing you could throw out of an aeroplane and there'd be a crater where it landed and the phone would be fine. You know, the phones that are like Dracula, they can't be killed by conventional methods, you know. Those phones. So Gen Z are actively seeking out these phones to use to limit their screen time. Like I saw a really interesting quote by one of the guys that actually is in charge of this whole movement. There's this Reddit subreddit called Our Dumb Phones. And And he says, to use his words, that they don't know what's going on with mental health and they're trying to make cutbacks. Dude, I don't know about you, but I think every single person on the planet should be taking a leaf or inspiration from Gen Z in this aspect. You know? I mean, if I asked myself the question, if you had a dumb phone, would you use it? I maybe might give it a try. Would it be to my detriment? I don't know. I certainly would find myself less distracted, that's for sure. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Seri says, China wants to lead the world and I think they'll do it. Meh. Someone's got to lead us. Honestly, I'd prefer it to be AI. I'd prefer it to be artificial intelligence. I'm done with humans. Humans, go home, you drunk. I heard that younger kids nowadays can't read analog clocks. It blows my mind. No, come on. I don't believe that was from James DeWitt, that he heard that younger kids cannot read analog clocks. You know what he means by an analog clock, right? Like the circular clock that you have in your kitchen with the two hands. Dude, that's primary school education, isn't it? I heard that, honestly. Wow. I mean, I could understand them not knowing who Frank Sinatra is, but not being able to read an analog clock, dude. It's not even that difficult. Surely you can just look at it. Look at the time on a digital watch. Look at the hands on the analog clock and make the mental leap. Now, you see, you've made me hate Generation Z again. I was all about them a second ago, and you've made me hate them again. It's all digital now. True story. True story, but apparently, at least in the States, there is a growing number of kids that are dumping smart technology in favor of dumber technology, especially when it comes to phones, to kind of get their own grip on the mental health crisis that is not just happening in the States, worldwide. And, you know, for me, social media plays a massive part of that. And where does social media live, ladies and gentlemen? 9 times out of 10 on your phone. And I did have one other piece of news. Do I have time? Oof, I have to be quick. It's another American story. 77% of young Americans, this comes from AmericanMilitaryNews.com. 77% of young Americans are too fat, mentally ill, on drugs, and more to join the military. They're too fat, they're too mentally ill, or they're on too many drugs to join the military. A Pentagon study finds. This is a study by the Pentagon of the United States that revealed that 77% of young people don't qualify anymore for military service without special dispensation, without special permission. We can break it down further. Like, apparently, most prevalent disqualification rates are 11% are too overweight, 8% because of drug or alcohol abuse, and 7% because of mental health. And they say, and in the actual report, it says most likely it's a combination of the two things. I mean, this has to be a very modern phenomena, right? I mean, especially we in Europe, we're terrible. We joke about kind of Americans' weight and things, but certainly the drugs crisis that happened over there, and there continues to be happening. You know, legal, in inverted commas, drugs that were incredibly harmful shipped to just people to use. I mean, you guys have seen the Netflix documentaries, etc. I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, I mean, not that that's terrifying. I mean, basically, this report is stating that 77% of American kids are just like me, too fat, mentally ill, and on way too many drugs and alcohol to do anything violent. That's me, man. Maybe we should be applauding American youth for this. You know, sit back, eat a pack of Cheetos, you know, and don't aid the government in more reckless action. Okay, here we go. James DeWitt. From the Mail Online, GCSE exam halls are ditching analog clocks because children are struggling to read the time. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, surely they can type, how do I read an analog clock into ChatGPT? It can't be that complicated, can it? I have a Batman-themed clock created from a vinyl record, the only non-digital clock in the house. I'll be honest, I don't have an analog clock either, so who the hell am I to talk? All right, guys. Well, you know what? Those are the main news headlines. I can't delve on them for too long, but do go to my Patreon to seek out more information about those. Right now, we're going to go to an unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
All right, today's unpopular opinion. What is an unpopular opinion? It is a brain fart, un pedo cerebral or un pedo mental. I share it with you on my Instagram. I see what you say, what you're saying, where the wind is blowing, but really the final say happens right here, live in the show. So you guys in the chat, you're going to have the final say. Today's unpopular opinion is, I have to scroll a little bit, listening to audiobooks is the same as reading. Ooh. Listening to audiobooks is the same as reading. What do you think, guys? Type your thoughts on this into the chat. I will share them live. Right now, I'm going to go over some pros and cons. Pros y contras. Come on. I don't have the ability. Oh, yeah, I do. Here we go.
Nivelazo.
All right. We're on fire, guys. I'm feeling it. Okay, listening to audiobooks is the same as reading. Okay, in favor of that argument, it's the same. Both reading and listening to audiobooks provide the same access to the same content, allowing individuals to absorb and comprehend the material. Audiobooks can offer alternatives for individuals with visual impairments, dyslexia, or other difficulties that may prevent them from reading traditional books. Fair play. Ensuring equal access to information and stories. If you are one of those people, those monsters that voted false, how do you live with yourselves? Think about the people with visual impairments and dyslexia. I feel bad. How are you doing, Emily, joining us here? How are you doing? Hello, all you lovely humans. I'm watching ads. I'll be in soon. Awesome. Also multitasking. Audiobooks enable users to consume content while doing other things. I used to listen to audiobooks while I did the cleaning and while I was traveling on the metro to work and things. I mean, it's not only is it in many cases the same as reading, but it can also be helpful in moments where you can't read to keep on consuming the material. Listening to stories. This is probably the final point in the pro column. We have a long tradition, a long storytelling tradition. I mean, years and years ago, none of us could read and write. Not none of us watching the stream. But, I mean, in history, people couldn't read and write. And we passed on stories and news and fables and myths and religion. We pass those through storytelling, the act of speaking and listening. Listening to stories has been a fundamental part of human culture since ancient times, suggesting that audiobooks are simply just a modern extension of that act of sitting down and being told a story or information. Okay, listening to audiobooks is not the same as reading. Here we go. It's a different cognitive process. Reading requires active engagement and focus, whereas listening to an audiobook can be more of a passive experience, you know what I mean? Like I was saying, maybe when I'm cleaning, I'm not actually consuming the material in the same way as when I'm reading. When I'm reading, I'm concentrating a lot more, obviously. Reading encourages the reader to visualize scenes, characters, and events in their mind, which may result in a more immersive experience and a deeper connection to the material. Do you think there's any truth in that? I can honestly say the times that I have consumed audiobooks, I haven't had the mental journey that I've had when I've read. Skill development. Reading helps you develop important skills such as vocabulary, grammar, critical thinking, which may not be as effectively developed through listening to audiobooks. Interesting point. Let's see what the chat is saying. I don't think so. The proof is in our writing, said Born to Iron Man. Ravdos, I think there's a stigma of saying I listened to a book And that's why people like to say they read the audiobook, because it conveys a certain sense of commitment, doesn't it? When you read, you can't be driving. And that's a fair point. I think a lot of us, I mean, I traditionally read a hell of a lot, but I have listened to audiobooks. Have I said I read the book? No. I've listened to an audiobook. Because I do think there's a certain stigma. There's that stigma of, even when you're in the act of listening to an audiobook, that stigma of, I'm cheating right now. You know, I'm not really I'm cheating. I'm listening to an audiobook. Like someone reading me a bedtime story. You know what I mean? I understand. I even felt that, a little of that stigma, when I was the one consuming the media. Emily says, I have a harder time comprehending the written word, but not problem being read to me. Ravdos goes on to give some examples where you would listen to an audiobook, like doing the dishes, etc. And Emily continues, I cannot do an audiobook while driving because I visualize during the audiobooks. That's a great point. Okay, I do actually have some facts and figures here prepared. I actually thought I was really over-prepared for the show, but looking at it now, I really didn't. Okay, so here we go. Those were some pros and cons. I did actually find a really interesting article from Time magazine. I can't remember what the date on that was. 2018. So it's from an article from 2018. Beth Rogowski, an associate professor of education at Bloomberg University in Pennsylvania, for a 2016 study. She took one group and they listened to sections from a non-fiction book about war. So they listened to an audiobook of a certain section of this book about World War II. Then there was another group, a second group, who read the audiobook on an e-reader. You know, like, I don't know the name of it, like the Amazon Kindle. So they read it on Amazon Kindle. And then there was a third group that actually listened to and read the material simultaneously. Now, the results of this may be quite surprising to you. To quote Beth Rogowski, I'm probably butchering her name, I'm sorry if you're listening. According to her, we found no significant differences in comprehension between reading, listening, or reading and listening simultaneously. Interesting, right? Let's see what people are saying. Seri says, for me, it's not the same, obviously, but the audiobook could be better or worse than the book itself, depending on the narrator. Exactly. That's another thing. You don't need to... The narrator is you when you're reading. You know? And I don't find myself entering that place in my imagination where I can kind of visualize what's going on when I'm listening to an audiobook. At least not the same or to the same intensity as when I'm reading. How are you doing, Min? Welcome, joining us all the way from the Netherlands. Hey. Can only be here for a bit before going for dinner. How are you all? Doing really well, Min. Better for seeing you, my friend. All right. There is more science, okay? Because, remember, in that last study from the professor of education at Bloomsburg University, she had her students, the ones who were doing the reading, not the listening, she had them using an e-reader like a Kindle. But there is evidence to say that we actually retain more information when we're looking at words on a page. Like the screen apparently makes a difference. Now, let's very quickly... Oh, do I have time? I may not. Let's very quickly... in the second half, I'll talk about this a little more. David Daniel, a professor of psychology at James Madison University, did another study. He co-authored it in 2010. And he found that students who listened to a podcast lesson performed worse in a comprehension quiz than students who read the same lesson on paper. Now, to quote him, he said, and the podcast group did a lot worse, not a little worse. Apparently, the difference was up to 28%. They retained 28% less information. That's the difference between an A and a D. So interesting stuff, guys. Interesting stuff. Look, either way, I'm not going to be the one to tell you if reading an audiobook is the same as listening to it, or if it's different. You're going to be the ones that tell me, because I'm going to post a little poll in the chat, and you guys are going to vote. Let's see what people are saying real quick. One good thing about the audiobook is learning the correct pronunciation of words. Great point. Great point, Emily. You're going to get a...
That gets the ProBoh stamp of approval.
But it doesn't help you with the spelling and the grammar, really. Ravdos says, what Alon Strong said before, when you read, you are creating the feel, pace, and immersion. And a good bit of that is lost when you're simply listening. Again, another...
ProBoh approved.
You guys are killing it today. By the way, I'm going to post this poll in the chat. Guys, there are so many things you could have been doing this morning, this evening. But instead of doing those things, you took the time to spend some time with me, and it means the absolute world, guys. I will see you in a few short minutes. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind the scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show.
The ProBoh Show!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the ProBoh Show. How you doing? For those of you joining me live, it's currently Sunday night, 6:47 Central European time. Those of you on the radio, you're listening to a pre-recorded version of the show. Probably going to have to cut some things out because it's run too long. If you want to hear the full, unadulterated version of the show, the only way to do it is to join me on any podcast directory. You can find the ProBoh Show, so just go ahead and do that. If you want to interact with the show outside of our usual times, you can do that on my Instagram @professional bohemian. That's Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. And there we go. Oh my God, what have you missed if you're just tuning in? Guys, so much. We spoke about how kids in the US, or Generation Z, not to be so patronizing, how Generation Z in the US are starting to buy telephones from the early 2000s, the kind that I used to use, the indestructible Nokia bricks, you know what I mean, that were half telephone, half weapon. That's what we're missing nowadays. Consumer electronics that can double up as weapons, right? Well, they're starting to buy those phones to limit their own screen time. How can it be these kids are smarter than all of us? They're more intelligent than all of us. Because I think that's what the world needs, right? Just to chill out, get out of our social media kind of echo chambers and just use our phone for making phone calls. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And then we looked at Chinese colleges. We looked at Chinese colleges giving students a week off to fall in love as the country struggles to keep its birth rates up. Dude, from what I remember about college, I didn't need any encouragement. You know what I mean? I certainly didn't need any time off to do it. I would just go late to lectures. Well, I mean, that's certainly one way to try and get your birth rate up. I mean, if this happened in England, everyone would just go out and get drunk, you know? And then birth rate wouldn't be the only thing you'd struggle getting up, if you know what I mean. Okay, we're not going to go there. It's not going to be a dirty show. It's going to be a clean show. Family show. All right, and then we found out, finally, that 77% of young Americans do not qualify. They wouldn't be allowed to join the military. 77%. Why? Because of their weight, because of their mental health, because of drugs, alcohol, etc. And this was a study done by the Pentagon. Quite surprising stuff. Again, all the links I will post in my Patreon. If you're a fan of the show and you're supporting me in this and my efforts here, then you can catch up with all that there. And then we moved on to today's unpopular opinion. We moved on to today's unpopular opinion, which was listening to an audiobook is the same as reading. Okay, well, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I'll give you the information from Instagram. 87% of people on Instagram said no, it's not the same. This would be an interesting question to actually do a follow-up poll and say, is it superior or inferior to reading? I don't think we need to do that. I think common sense will tell us that most people will take the purist approach and say, no, it's inferior to the act of reading. I mean, even me, someone who has consumed audiobooks, I feel like I'm cheating. And that's a weird bit of kind of, I don't know, like educational gatekeeping. But yeah, let's before we do anything else, let me reveal the results of the poll right here. The people live in chat. We've got Ravdos, Min, Seri, Emily. Oh God, so many people. Born to Iron Man, Alone Strong. We've got a bunch of people here, and they all voted on whether it's the same as reading. Let's get a drum roll. 100% of people said that it's not the same as reading. Interesting. Somewhat predictable when you saw the results of the Instagram poll. And yeah, certain scientific kind of papers, or at least the two that I mentioned earlier on in the show, one suggests it's about the same, but there is definitely a qualitative difference between reading from paper than reading from an e-reader. Now, from what I gathered from this Time article, when we're reading on a page, on a piece of paper, our eyes will dart back to other parts of the material very, very quickly to confirm things. Apparently, it's just much better to retain information. But then the e-reader thing, and I think most people do their reading nowadays on an e-reader. I'm a bit of a purist. I love books, but I wouldn't be opposed to having a Kindle. You know what I mean? I don't think I want one enough to go out and buy one, but if I had one, I would use it for sure. And apparently there's very little, or there's no significant difference between reading from a Kindle and listening to an audiobook. That's from the 2016 study that I mentioned earlier. But as far as you guys are concerned, yeah, you said that there is a difference. Like, I will joke, because like my best friend, as you know, Andrea, she consumes audiobooks like they're going out of fashion. And whenever she says, oh, I read a book, I'll always kind of cheekily say, read? Did you know? Do you want to read my podcast? Did you read that new Muse song? Have you read the new Muse album? You didn't read it, did you? You listened to it. I mean, look, just from a purely semantic point of view, it's not the same, is it? But what I do find interesting is the idea of retaining information. And apparently the best way to retain it is to read it off of a piece of paper, whether that's printed or notes or whatever. Okay, let's see what the chat was saying while I was away on my break. Okay, I think we read this one. This one was from Ravdos. To what Alone Strong said before, when you read, you are creating the feel, pace, and immersion. And a good bit of that is lost when you are simply listening. I agree with that. Because normally when I consume audiobooks, I'm either doing it to fall asleep or I'm doing it while I'm partaking in another action. I'm not solely focused on the book itself. So it's hard to kind of create the imagery of in your mind. Also, when you're reading, you go at your own pace, giving you the time to really make those nice mental images in your mind. Because you read at your own pace. Min says, cheekily, he says, if I know someone is lying or doesn't know what they're talking about, like Rob, I forget what was being said very quickly. Whatever, Min. I know you love me. And then Seri says, when I was at college, I used to record my lessons and then I would listen to them instead of reading the book. It helped me a lot to study for the exam. That's an interesting point. Seri, and I like that. You're going to get a...
ProBoh approved.
But I wonder how much of that is just reinforcing. Like, because when you listen to an audiobook, you're not likely to listen to the same chapter again and again and again. And maybe the repetition listening to audio is what's really helping that sink in. What's helping you absorb that information. Interesting food for thought there. We're going to go to 100 humans. Oh my God, friends, it was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk I encountered 100 humans, and I asked them all a question. Today I asked them, name something someone might do to make their partner angry. Name something someone might do to make their partner angry. Woo! I asked them that question, my friends. They gave me their answers. I have the top 7 answers right here. Your job in the chat is to identify those top 7 answers. Name something you might do that would make your partner furious. From my experience, breathing. Is breathing on the list? Can I play? Is breathing there? Then your list is left sadly wanting. Bitter Rob is bitter. Okay, so here we go. Something someone might do that would make their partner angry. Let's see, we've got a few answers here already. Oh my God. Okay, I see what's going on here. Basically what you guys are doing, writing a list of chores, either done badly or not done at all. I'm going to give you a clue. None of the answers are that. It's not a chore done badly. For example, here we have leaving laundry on the floor. We have snoring. Not taking out the trash. Well, snoring, we'll put an asterisk. That's not a chore. Not taking out the trash. Burning dinner. Not doing the dishes. All right. All of those, my friends, they're not there. Okay, snoring. Something you might do that would make your partner very angry. Snoring. Is it there? Neither. It's not there. Complaining. Nagging. Says Emily. Complaining. Is it there? Oh, guys. Seri says farting in public. It's not there, but...
ProBoh approved.
You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? So Ravdos says, showing up late. Showing up late. Being late. Being tardy. Is it there? You know what? I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you that one, Ravdos. Staying out late is there. But if you stay out late, you're coming back late, aren't you? So I'm going to give you that, Ravdos. It's in third place with 16 of 100 humans saying, staying out late would make my partner angry. Arguing in public. Having an argument. Is having an argument there? Well done, Emily. Well done. It's there. It's in 6th place with 4 of 100 humans saying, if they had an argument, it would get me in trouble with my partner. All right, let's continue. Talking about your partner's sexual prowess. That's not what Emily wrote, but I'm paraphrasing. Is sexual prowess, poor sexual prowess there? No, it's not. You know, you almost got that because think about use a phrasal verb there to get it up. Right? I'm not going to explain. If you're a Spaniard listening to the show, Google will explain it to you. What does getting it up mean? What might your partner be engaged in for them not to be able to get it up? Or to get it up? All right, that's a clue. I'll leave it with you. All right, here we go. Let's continue. Ravdos says cheating or infidelity. Cheating or infidelity. Is it there? Cheating or infidelity? Yes, it is. It's there, Ravdos, with 35 of the 100 humans is the number one answer. My God. We got there, friends. We got there. Ravdos for the win. Number one answer. Okay. You've gotten 3. There are 4 more to get. 4 more to get. Parking like an idiot. Bad parking. Come on. It's not there. It's not there. I'm sorry. Ravdos said to forget a birthday. To forget a birthday. Is that there? Oh! Dude, this is Ravdos's round, man. He's on fire. Look at him go. To forget a birthday. It's there, my friend, with in fifth place. In fifth place with 4 of 100 humans saying that. Forgetting a birthday would make your partner angry. Let's see. Drunkenness. Drunkenness. Dude, Ravdos is killing this. Either Ravdos is really tuned in to toxic relationships, or he's speaking from experience. And I'm with you, Ravdos. If someone asked me this, I would have said the top 7 immediately. Okay, so he said, getting drunk, drunkenness. Is it there? Yes, it is. My God, you're on fire. It's the number 4 answer. Getting drunk would make my partner angry. Surprise pregnancy. Surprise pregnancy, says Emily. Something someone might do that would make their partner angry. Getting pregnant. Dude, you would hope you'd be on the same page there with your partner, wouldn't you? You know? I don't know, but is it there? I asked 100 humans, did they say a surprise pregnancy? A great guess, but it's not there. Let's see. Working too hard. Being a workaholic. He's working too hard there. No. Oil Change is joining us. How are you doing, Oil Change, in the chat? He says, farting in bed. Farting. Tirarse un pedo. Farting in bed. I mean, I'll be honest, most of these answers, you know, like infidelity, forgetting a birthday, you know, they're quite serious things. But would farting in bed make your partner angry? No, it's not there. It's a great answer. You know, it's a great answer, but it's not there. All right, we're going back to Ravdos. He says, forgetting an anniversary. Forgetting an anniversary. Is that there? To forget an anniversary. It's your 3rd anniversary, and you completely forget. Is it there? Oh my God. 7th most popular answer, folks, with 3 of 100 humans. Forgetting an anniversary would make your partner angry. Okay, we've just got one more to go. And I can see it in the chat. Emily says, dressing like a slob. Dressing like a slob. Dressing like me. Basically, right now. I'm in my sweatpants and a hoodie because I'm in my home studio. He's dressing like a slob there. Would it make your partner angry? Jeez. I would certainly hope not for my future dating, because this is how I generally tend to dress. Is dressing like a slob there? No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, I see. Where did I see it? I see it somewhere. Where was it? 1, 2, 3. Who said to lie? I saw it. Ravdos said to lie. Is lying there? Lying. Would something you might do to make your partner angry? Lying. Oh my God, it's there, friends. It's there. It's the 2nd most popular answer, with 31 of 100 humans saying lying would make your partner angry. Geez Louise, if this just doesn't describe my ex-relationship and make me happy that I'm no longer there. All right, anyway. How are you doing, Chusky Trusky? Welcome. All right. Here we go. Let's go through the list, my friends. I hope my sound effects work. See, this is where I miss Natch, man. This is where I miss my Natch. Okay, in position number 7. Thank you, 100 humans. We had forgetting an anniversary. I asked 100 humans to name something that would make their partner angry. Very angry. Forgetting an anniversary. In position number 6 was having an argument. You know, you have an argument and they get angry. It's going to happen. All right, in position number 5. In number 5, with 4 of 100 humans answering this, was forgetting a birthday. Forgetting a birthday. In position number 4, we had getting drunk. The dude's a drunkard. You know, she's never sober. I hate it. Makes me angry. In position number 3 was staying out late. My God. They never phone, call me, they never anything. They just stay out late. In position number 2 was lying. Dude, don't lie, man. If you're going to lie to anyone, don't let it be your partner. Come on, that's dumb. And in position number 1, we had infidelity. Congratulations to Ravdos for being the person who got that right. Congratulations. Oh my God, guys. Killing it. Okay, now, friends, we have to go head first into Complete the News.
Complete the news.
All right, guys, this is Complete the News. I'm going to give you a news headline, un titular, okay? And I'm going to give you 3 options. If you are one of the people watching and you feel nervous about typing out your opinions, then this is your moment, because all you have to write is A, B, or C. Okay? So I'm going to give you a news headline with some information missing. You're going to complete the news with option A, B, or C in the chat. All you have to write is A, B, and C. Are we ready? Okay, this piece of news is coming from xbiz.com. Again, the link will be in my Patreon after the show. Blank is challenged in Utah for having explicit sexual content. So in Utah, in the United States, something has been challenged because it has explicit sexual content. Okay, just for a little context, there was a legislation, a law that was passed in 2022 banning books or media containing pornographic or indecent content from schools and libraries in Utah. But they also expanded what that could mean. So blank challenged in Utah for explicit sexual content. Is it A, movies, películas, movies starring Elvis Presley? Peddler of porn, Elvis Presley. Is it B, Harry Potter? He's a wizard, isn't he? Isn't that like... Are you going to go to hell? False prophets and all that? Or is it C, the Bible? Blank challenged in Utah for explicit sexual content. Is it A, movies starring Elvis Presley? Is it B, Harry Potter? Or is it C, the Bible? I see you all voting there in the chat. Elvis Presley is, you know, what he does with his hips. Get his movies off of our TV. Oh my gods. All right, we have... Well, it seems like B is the most popular answer in the chat right now. I'll salute Ravdos for being the only person to say C, the Bible. And I will salute Emma Lee for being the only person to say Elvis Presley and his overly sexualized dancing. Everybody else says B, Harry Potter. Should we get a little drum roll going on? The Bible is challenged in Utah for explicit sexual content. This is completely true, my friends. I'm not making this up. So this is a Utah parent. So a parent of a child that goes to a school in Utah who's angry with these arbitrary, the expansive nature of what is considered inappropriate in Utah schools. So he lodged an official complaint saying that the Bible should be flagged and removed from schools because of its instances of sexual explicitness. He said in a note, I'll read you basically what he said, or some extracts. He said, it is one of the most sex-ridden books, one of the books with the most sex in it. The parent asked their school district to review the Bible for inappropriate content. This comes from a news story, apparently from the Salt Lake City Tribune. Okay, this is an excerpt from from this man's note. He said, incest, onanism. I had to search what onanism was. Apparently that's masturbation. So incest, onanism, bestiality, prostitution, genital mutilation, fellatio, rape, even infanticide. You'll no doubt find that the Bible, under the Utah law, has no serious values for minors because it's pornographic by our new definition. Oh my God. This guy is he's schooling the Utah schools. I mean, isn't that out of control? Okay. We have time for the second piece of news. Okay, where were we going? Okay. Here we go. Okay, piece of news number 2. We have to be really quick. Italian government seeks to penalize blank. It wants to punish blank. Or the use of blank. Is it A, German beer? Is it B, English words? Or is it C, Spanish olives? The Italian government seeks to penalize the use of blank. Is it A, German beer, B, English words, or C, Spanish olives? A lot of I see the Spaniards voting C. I like where your head's at. It's true. You know, Italian olive oil, said to be the best in the world. It's made out of Spanish olives. True story, my friends. True story. I wouldn't kid you. Okay, I will salute Ravdos for being the only person to say B, English words. No one said A, German beer. What's not to love about German beer? But most of you, the vast majority of you said C, Spanish olives. Let's get a little drum roll. The Italian government seeks to penalize the use of English words. They don't like it. They are seriously considering penalizing the use of English words. This is when I pick up the phone, call my friends and say, are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys? Italians who use, this is from CNN, Italians who use English and other foreign words in official communications could face fines up to 100,000 euros under new legislation introduced by Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Fabio Rampinelli, a member of the lower chambers of deputies, introduced the legislation, which is supported by the Prime Minister. So this is not exclusively about the English language. It's any foreign language. But they do specify what they call, what was it? What's the word the phrase that they use? Like, Anglomania, that's it. It's not just a matter of fashion. This is a quote, right? It's not just a matter of fashion as fashions pass, but Anglomania has repercussions for society as a whole. That's what it says inside the bill. Are we the baddies? All right, guys, look, that's all I've got time for today's show. I've had a wonderful time, guys. So many things you could have been doing today. Instead of doing those things, you've taken the time to spend some time with me, and it means the world. And I will see you tomorrow.